Welcome back to the Auto Insider, where you come to find out what's new, what's hot, and what's not in the automotive industry. This week we have the 2022 Infiniti QX55 Sensory Edition. 20-inch rims, looks pretty sporty. They've even done some advancements and updates to the CVT transmission. It looks the part. Let's see if it's as nice as it looks on the outside. And once inside, one of the first things I notice about this QX55 is the attention to detail. A lot of things here that catch your eye that say Infiniti is really a luxury brand that I think many people have overlooked for many years. We look here, we have suede here on the side bolsters of your seats. We have this stitching here, this contrasting stitching along the seat back and the bolsters. This leather stitching comes across the door, all the way across the dash, and then you have this soft touch point leather here on the dashboard. One thing that we liked about it is it comes all the way down the dash, onto the front of the glove box here, all the way up this center console, up to where you rest your arm. Details were a big deal in this vehicle, and you can tell. While there's not some huge screen here like we see on a lot of these cars these days, there are dual screens here. Touch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wirelessly connect to the vehicle, Bluetooth audio. It's loaded. So the jury is still out on these dual touchscreen monitors. You can see just fine here, but it's not quite as responsive as we've seen on some other vehicles. So it leaves a little bit to be desired. As you can see here, we're having a hard time actually making this screen go through its functions. This touchscreen here works a little bit better. We have heated steering wheel. We can sync all of your AC functions. I really like the fact that we can control the AC from here, or we can control it here on these sides. I love seeing knobs and switches that we can do things manually without having to touch the screen itself. Not to mention all the fingerprints that come on the screen. Radio, all those controls and functions are right here at your disposal. Just below here, if you're gonna have a family style SUV crossover vehicle, you're gonna need extra storage. We have two USB, the standard, and the USB-C fast charger. Cup holders here. This closes up to keep it nice and neat. When we go here, we have an additional charger here in the center console. Not a lot of space here, so we'd say reserve this for a smaller family. You have the electronic parking brake, auto hold for heels. You have multiple drive modes. You have personal, you can set all your features, sport, standard, and eco. We kept it on sport because it kept the transmission really working at its best. Here you have a knob that also allows you to navigate through the screens here. And as I turn that knob, you'll see we go from function to function. So I would actually recommend people use this function more than the touch screen. This takes us back, and this gives us our multiple camera views. And while we do have a complete 360 view, this monitor is not quite as crisp and clear as some of the others we've seen, but it does do its job. You can change the view for different things you want to see. So, all in all, it works well. Here on the instrument cluster, you have your warnings. Of course, we're low on fuel. This button here will allow you, when you have your smart cruise control on, allow you to set the distance you want to keep from the vehicles around you. And while the QX55 does not have autonomous driving, the smart cruise control does keep the vehicle in its lane, and with the help of your lane keep assist, your blind spot warning, and your lane trace assist, the QX55 will keep itself in the center of your lane and allow you a little bit of freedom to do other things while you're driving. And of course, it does have the stop and go feature, so it will bring the car to a complete stop when you approach another vehicle that has already stopped ahead of you. We have auto dimming headlights, rain sensing windshield wipers, and then you also have these paddle shifters here. With a CVT transmission, I think it's really a waste, but they're there in case you need it. And conveniently located here on the steering wheel, controls for your radio, volume control. You can answer your phone calls, and this is how you set and turn off your cruise control functions. I don't know if I'm just old school or not, but I can always appreciate a place to put my sunglasses when I'm getting out of the car. Now the second row is not quite as inviting as the first row, although the attention to detail follows it all the way here into the back seat. stitching along the back of the seats here as well, the contrasting stitching. You have armrests here, cup holders, a place here for your smartphones. You even have the stitching around the seat backs here in the second row. You have pockets here, the family vehicle. You have USB charging port, just one. I think there'll be a fight here if you have more than one child, more than one child. We have tri-zone climate controls, so the second row passengers have their own adjustments for heat and air. You have 2 vents here in the center. I like seeing them now on the sides. A lot of vehicles are doing that, but it's here and it's accessible. So as you can see, I'm an average size man. I drive with my seat pretty far back. With me sitting here, I still have enough room to ride comfortably in this vehicle. And for the average driver, their seat to be up a little bit further. So I think there's tons of room here in this second row, especially for a vehicle of this size. It's always good to be able to adjust the second row of seats. So you can actually move this seat forward to allow for more cargo space in the back or more leg room. This switch here on the side, you sit the seat up, or you can recline it for long road trips. So now that car makers are taking these crossovers and making them more useful like an SUV, you have to have a very useful access to the cargo area. Let's see. One kick, it worked on the first try. There's decent cargo capacity here, and there's even some underfloor storage here for things that you might want to keep around with you all the time, like maybe some safety equipment. You'll need a pump and maybe some of that fix-a-flat because it doesn't come with a spare tire. But lucky for anybody who's picking one up, it does come with run-flat tires. Now, when we're talking about this doubling as a crossover SUV vehicle for a family, you have to have folding second row seats. Of course, you have the 60/40 folding second row. It's a mechanical release, and you have to put them back up by hand. However, in a price range like this, we're not upset about it. And it gives you plenty of room for making any trip to the big box stores. Now, if you don't want to use the kick function, there's always this. I like the way they hid it right inside of the Infiniti emblem. While we're not usually huge fans of a CVT transmission, nor are we big fans of 4-cylinders, but this Infiniti QX55 with this 2-liter variable compression turbocharged engine puts out 268 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. On a car this size, that's plenty of power to make this a fun daily driver. Well, that's all the time we have today on the Auto Insider, but for more of what's new, what's hot, and what's not, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and download the SoundCloud app and listen to all of our reviews in their entirety. Also, click the subscribe button so you can get alerted each time we put out a new video. 2022 Infiniti QX55. This compact crossover packs a lot of punch. We draw the 2021. We weren't as impressed with the transmission and the drivetrain of that one. This 2022 Infiniti has corrected a lot of those issues. While we're still not big fans of CVT, the shift points that have been programmed inside of here work well. Is it hot or is it not? Well, let's put it on the lukewarm list because it does a lot of things well. Were it not for that CVT transmission, we make it hot. Till next week, I'm Daryl Killian for the Auto Insider.